Hello and welcome to another week of I Hate Fantasy Football. This is the captain, and with me, as always, is Crazy MFJR. Week 4 is in the books. We had a few interesting matchups over Week 4.
Yep.
I'd like to take a look at a couple of them, a nice closer look at some of the ones that we previewed last week.
Sure.
The first one that we previewed was the Estrada Bowl.
Yeah, always a good one.
It sure is. The Estrada Bowl, as of right now, there's a record of Lisa with 2 wins.
Okay.
Tom's got 1.
He's on the board.
He had the first win. He hasn't won since. They do play again one more time in Week 12, so we'll see how that goes. But Josh, what did you see this week with the Estrada Bowl?
Well, it was better than last year, I'll tell you that much.
Wasn't hard to beat.
But it's basically the same result. Lisa beat
Yep.
Tom
Of course.
again. Now, what I did find interesting is that last year, the Estrada Bowl had a combined 100.4 points with 2 teams involved.
Wait. So 2 teams,
2 teams.
and they only scored 100 points total.
100.4 points total. This year, Tom scored 107.9
So he beat it.
by himself.
Yeah.
However, Lisa scored 131.4, beating him, a combined total of 239.3. That,
Seems like a lot more.
this year, from last year, is 138.9 points different. So congratulations, Team Estrada as a whole.
Good job.
You're doing better.
So 139 points more this year? 138.9?
Uh-huh.
I don't think Tom scored that many points yet this year.
Probably not. But it's something to shoot for.
The other matchup that was pretty interesting was the Kevin versus Gus. Mostly interesting for me because I get to read their text messages in our group thread that we got going on.
Share.
Oh, it's a good time. Actually, Kevin leads us off with our first viewer email. He writes in with a little recap here. He says that he's going to take the win.
Okay.
He got lucky that he got Gus on a bye week.
Good.
Gus responds with, "Yeah, remember that." Kevin, with the line of the week for me, Kevin says, "I will remember, but for now, suck it." 4-0.
Nice, Kevin. I like it.
Yeah, that was good. All right, so I want to kind of go through something that I found interesting this week. So the quarterbacks this year, they're kind of bad, just in general.
Yeah.
I want to run down the top 12 quarterbacks for Week 4.
Okay.
Top 12. So this is the quarterbacks who scored the most points in Week 4. We begin with Big Ben. Lisa started him. Good job. Very, very, very good job. Matt Ryan. Keitel started him. Good job. Both of those guys scored over 40 points. And then it goes downhill from there. So we had Derek Carr, Blake Bortles, and Russell Wilson. That's 3, 4, and 5 right there. Each of them scored just above 29 points.
Okay.
All 3 of them on somebody's bench. Let's move to numbers 6 and 7. That would be Joe Flacco and Hoyer.
Nobody owns those
They
guys.
both scored above 24 points. They are both unowned. All right, so let's keep moving down the list here. Let's go down
I'm
to
excited.
number 8. Kirk Cousins.
Great.
Wahlberger started him. Good job. You got 23 points out of Kirk Cousins.
Starter.
Phillip Rivers. Kevin's got him. Benched. 10, 11, and 12. Dak Prescott. Casey Keenum. Alex Smith.
Wow.
All 3 of them unowned.
Wow.
Top 12 quarterbacks. The top 2 got played.
Yeah.
2 more got played and made it into the top 12.
Okay.
The rest of us, we're like bottom tier quarterbacks. It's
We're
a
so smart.
nightmare. Quarterback is a nightmare. Even if you thought you drafted the right one, even if you think you're good at streaming, you're not. Quarterback is a nightmare. All right, Josh, anything else you find from Week 4?
Well, what's interesting, I think, is that there's 7 teams at 2-2 now, which is
Yeah.
pretty fascinating. You know, nobody's really come out to a head. Kevin's up on his division, but other than that, nobody's way up, nobody's way down. I'm 2-2
Mhm.
with the most points in the league.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like a tiebreaker somewhere down the line, I think,
Maybe.
isn't it? Yeah, that's great. So, really appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
I'm only 1 game behind you.
Yeah, only one.
Yeah.
You're on the road to success.
Yeah, I am. I'm on a streak. 1 game is not a streak. That's okay. Anything else?
I hope that I never have to play any more Falcons players because this week, week 4, I ran up against Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, who had 500 yards passing and 300 yards receiving.
Is that good?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Last week, I ran up against Tevin Coleman and Freeman, who had 4 or 5 touchdowns combined between the two of them.
At like 1,000 yards.
Yeah, a whole bunch. If you flip-flop the weeks and I played them in the opposite weeks, I'd have done great because the opposite weeks, those guys did nothing. But, of course, I run into them when they have the best weeks of their respective careers ever. So I don't want to play Atlanta anymore. I don't want to see Atlanta anymore. I'm glad the Braves aren't in the playoffs. I'm not going to watch any Hawks basketball games. Heck, I'm not even going to watch the Atlanta TV show. I'm done.
I did see, though, and this is very, very interesting to me, and I'm hoping that it's a pattern that has been started. Every team that plays you, at least for the last 2 weeks, but every team that plays you has scored their most fantasy points of the season. So let's keep that trend going, guys.
You guys are gearing up for me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Bring the competition. I'm all for it.
I love it. All right, so that's going to take us into our rankings for the week. Jordan, take it away.
Thank you, Darren and Josh. Let's get right into Week 5 Power Rankings. Now, Kevin, you picked the right week to play Gus with all the Packers on a bye. But nevertheless, you got the win and you're still undefeated. Carlos Hyde and DeMarco Murray continue to anchor your team, and Greg Olsen is the #1 tight end in all of fantasy. Does it kind of feel like when Josh loses, we all really win? Now, Josh is still one of the best teams in all of the league, but he is coming off back-to-back losses, and Odell Beckham Jr. has still yet to score a touchdown. But Melvin Gordon continues to shine. Over the last few weeks, Dragon Pirates has made a steady rise to the upper echelon of the league. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones had over 79 points, and that put Keitel in a 4-way tie for first place in the East. Keitel looks primed to make a run again this year. Now, Lisa is a 2-time winner of the Estrada Bowl. This week, we saw what Darren likes to call good Big Ben Roethlisberger, and Antonio Brown also had 2 touchdowns. Now, this week, the Saints and the Chiefs are both on byes, so Lisa's going to have to go to her bench in the waiver wire in order to fill her roster. Now, Jameis Winston was not worth the $20 price tag that Gus paid, and Gronk has still yet to show up this season. But the Packers are off their bye, and Gus is looking to rebound when he goes up against Tom this week. Now, the fact that Jeff's team scored 107 less points with the exact same roster than they did last week is just another reason why deep down we all hate fantasy football. If only the Atlanta running backs could play New Orleans every single week. Tom Brady is back in the lineup for power and glory, but recent injuries have probably put this team out of contention. Now, we did see good performances from A.J. Green, Jordan Reed, and Terrence West, and this team just got back to 500 just in time for Brady's return. Now, Blake Bortles, he scored 3 times the points of Ryan's starter, Ryan Tannehill, this week. Le'Veon Bell has had an immediate impact on Ryan's team, but Latavius Murray, Chris Ivory, and Willie Snead had poor performances, and that was the deciding factor going up against Darren. Now, speaking of Darren, he got his first win of the season. He had big games from Isaiah Crowell, Jordan Howard, and Brandon Marshall. You are welcome, Darren. But things don't get any easier for Darren. This week he goes up against Dodger Dogs, and Drew Brees is on a bye. Finally, Tom, you are back in 10th place in the power rankings, but you scored over 100 points in 3 of the first 4 weeks of the league. Now, if you can get consistent play out of a quarterback and keep going to the waiver wire to make some key acquisitions, I think you're going to be just fine. Guys, back to you. That's the rankings.
All right, thanks again, Jordan. Well done again, man. He's getting pretty good with those rankings. What do we see on there? Let's see. Kevin on the top.
Yep.
Hard to argue that. He's 4-0.
Yep.
He's got a lot of points behind him.
Yep.
I know he hasn't scored more than you, but he's doing really well this year. Let's see. Me not at the bottom.
Yep, that's good. Yep.
Tom at the bottom.
Tom's back where he's comfortable.
Seems about right.
Yep.
And Ryan now in 8th place.
8th place.
That's what I like to see, and I'm only 1 week away from jumping up over Ryan here.
Yep.
Love it. What'd you say?
Yep. Well, Jordan pointed out the fact that Jameis Winston was terrible.
Yes.
playing Denver. We called that. So
Yeah, $22 down the drain.
yep, Gus is never going to play him again this entire season. So that was 22% of his fab. For me, it'd be nice if Odell Beckham Jr. could maybe get in the end zone sometime this year, once or twice would be helpful for a guy that was, a top 5 pick everywhere consensus probably.
As soon as he starts getting in the end zone, Melvin Gordon's not going to.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
All right, let's go. All right, that'll wrap up another week of I Hate Fantasy Football. I am the captain. This is Crazy MFJR, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, well, that'll do it for another week of I Hate Fantasy Football. For the captain, this is Crazy MFJR, and we'll see you. Did I say that?
I said for the captain, this is Crazy MFJR. I'm
I like
Crazy
to pretend that's who I am.
MFJR. You're the captain.
I thought I did that right. I didn't just in my head. I was like, no, I think I nailed it.